Condoleezza Rice, political scientist and former United States Secretary of State, born the 14th of November, 1954, age 70 years, Birmingham, Alabama, United States. Education, Corbel Careers, OCPD, Joseph Corbel School of International Studies. Seymour, Awards, School of Humanities and Sciences. Dean's Award for Distinguished Teaching, Seymour, previous offices, United States Secretary of State, 2005-2009. Seymour, Party, Republican Party. Parents, John Wesley Rice, Angelina Rice. Condoleezza Rice net worth, $12 million. Early life. Rice was born in Birmingham, Alabama, the only child of Angelina, née Ray Rice, a high school science, music, and oratory teacher, and John Wesley Rice Jr., a high school guidance counselor, Presbyterian minister, and dean of students at Stillman College, a historically black college in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Her name, Condoleezza, derives from the music term Condolcezza, Italian for sweetly, softly lit, with sweetness. Rice has roots in the American South going back to the pre-Civil War era, and some of her ancestors worked as sharecroppers for a time after emancipation. Rice discovered on the PBS series Finding Your Roots that she is of 51% African, 40% European, and 9% Asian or Native American genetic descent, while her mtDNA is traced back to the Tikar people of Cameroon. In her 2017 book, Democracy, Stories from the Long Road to Freedom, she writes, "My great-great-grandmother Zena on my mother's side bore 5 children by different slave owners, and my great-grandmother on my father's side, Julia Head, carried the name of the slave owner and was so favored by him that he taught her to read." Rice grew up in the Titusville neighborhood of Birmingham and then Tuscaloosa, Alabama, at a time when the South was racially segregated. The Rices lived on the campus of Stillman College. Rice began to learn French, music, figure skating, and ballet at the age of 3. At the age of 15, she began piano classes with the goal of becoming a concert pianist. Academic career. Rice was hired by Stanford University as an assistant professor of political science, 1981-1987. She was promoted to associate professor in 1987, a post she held until 1993. She was a specialist on the Soviet Union and gave lectures on the subject for the Berkeley-Stanford Joint Program, led by UC Berkeley professor George W. Breslow in the mid-1980s. At a 1985 meeting of arms control experts at Stanford, Rice's performance drew the attention of Brent Scowcroft, who had served as National Security Advisor under Gerald Ford. With the election of George H.W. Bush, Scowcroft returned to the White House as National Security Advisor in 1989, and he asked Rice to become his Soviet expert on the United States National Security Council. According to R. Nicholas Burns, President Bush was captivated by Rice and relied heavily on her advice in his dealings with Mikhail Gorbachev and Boris Yeltsin. Because she would have been ineligible for tenure at Stanford if she had been absent for more than 2 years, she returned there in 1991. She was taken under the wing of George Shultz, Ronald Reagan's Secretary of State from 1982 to 1989, who was a fellow at the Hoover Institution. Shultz included Rice in a luncheon club of intellectuals who met every few weeks to discuss foreign affairs. In 1992, Shultz, who was a board member of Chevron Corporation, recommended Rice for a spot on the Chevron board. Chevron was pursuing a $10 billion development project in Kazakhstan, and as a Soviet specialist, Rice knew the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev. She traveled to Kazakhstan on Chevron's behalf, and in honor of her work, in 1993, Chevron named a 129,000 ton supertanker SS Condoleezza Rice. During this period,